All right, guys, we're about to get started on setting the full trap line. We showed you how to use the dog proofs around your deer feeders. We showed you how to take a foothold trap and prepare it and get it ready to catch coyotes. Now we're going to put that all into play. We're going to go over choosing the right location, finding the sign, and the different types of sets, and then we'll be coming back day after day checking these traps, seeing what we catch, and probably adding more sets as we go. We're going to hit it hard today and get as many in as we can, but as you'll see, it's time consuming to do it right. So we're going to get everything loaded up into the side-by-side, and we're going to get after it. All right, guys, we are at our first location, and I'm going to put on these chaps. I'll use knee pads when I'm trapping sometimes, just to keep my pants from getting dirty, and I'll basically use these chaps for the same thing. I don't want to waste my time with a bunch of scent control practices outside of wearing gloves, because there's no way I'm going to beat that animal's nose. He's going to know that I was there. You know, all that other stuff just kind of slows you down. I'll handle my traps with gloves, and then I'll take my gloves off to bait, because I don't want to contaminate my traps with a bait scent. But that's about it. So we're here at our first location, and this is a property that I trapped for several years now, so I kind of know where I'm going to catch my coyotes at. They'll show you where they want to be caught and where they don't want to be caught. And this right here, historically in the past, has been a good spot, and we're riding around and look down, and sure enough, there's several sets of tracks coming through here. What we've got is we've got a road coming through this clear cut, and there's a drain that comes out of this clear cut and it intersects this road right here. So there's a crossover right there, and going up and down both sides of this drain, it's kind of open and provides a little travel route. And if you come in here and look right in here, there's coyote tracks coming out of this drain and hitting this road. Same on this side, there's coyote tracks going down this road and going down into this drain here. So what you want to find is, one, is a good sign, but two, is the right location. Just because there's a set of coyote tracks in the road, that doesn't necessarily equate to a good spot to put a trap. I like to look for intersections in the roads, big curves in the roads. Anything that's going to slow that coyote down, where a road dumps into a food plot, is an area that they tend to kind of slow down and stop and check out the food plot or the field as they come into it. Any kind of good vantage point. Just think about it, they're hunting and they're looking for something to eat. So in any place that they can stop and eye a big open field and find maybe a rabbit or something, and they attack it, you know, is a good spot. But we're going to start right here. Like I said, this spot's loaded with tracks, and we're going to come in here and get a couple of sets in. If it's good enough for one set, it's good enough for two, and it's probably good enough for three or four. A lot of times these coyotes will travel in groups. You'll have two or three running together. You can have as many as up to 5 and 6 if they've still got some of the younger coyotes that were just born last spring running with them. But with it starting to be breeding season, they'll start to kick some of those males out. And you won't necessarily have as many. But I can't tell you, when I first started, how many times I'd set a trail camera on a trap location, and I would get a coyote come in, get caught in the trap, and then his partner would stand there for 45 minutes just walking around. And if I'd have had another trap in that location, I'd probably caught him. So don't ever forget that. All right, so when we're making a set, there's several tools that we need. You gotta have a trap, obviously. And if you're using the chain type anchors that I use, you gotta have something to drive that stake in. And this is a Fox Hollow Super Stake driver. This thing is bulletproof. It'll last me a long time. And this end is turned down to accept that stake. And I can drive that stake into the ground, and it's got some big handles on the side so that I can pull it out. And then I've got this hammer, just a 3-pound sledgehammer that I welded this claw on to dig with. I can drive my stakes in the ground, and I can dig my trap beds. I've got my screen wire pan covers right here. And this is nothing more than this rolled screen from the hardware store. It's cheap, it's easy to make a bunch of. I take them for these traps and I cut them at 5 inches wide by 6 inches long. And what that does is that's gonna sit over my pan and prevent dirt and stuff from getting underneath my pan and preventing my trap from firing. So I need a good sifter. I'm excavating soil out of a hole to put my trap in where I make my bed, and then I need to put that dirt back in the hole. But what I don't want is rocks ending up in that trap bed, because if I get a little rock in there, it can keep that trap from closing all the way and allow just enough room for that coyote to pull out. So a good sifter will help you prevent that. Also, when you get into some of the wet or moist, red clay, it'll help get some of the big clumps out of there and make it look better. If I'm gonna make a dirt hole set, I like to use this dirt hole auger on a drill. Just real quick, I can punch in a hole, put my bait down in that hole. You don't have to have this auger, but it's a time saver. They make punches and trapline hammers that have little cutters on the end, little rounded shovels that'll help you dig out a hole. When you're dropping in a bunch of sets, this is by far the fastest way. So, like I said, we're gonna get started, and we're gonna take the trap. So here we go. This is our trap that we set up the other day in the video. We put our chain stake on there, we put our tag on there, and we waxed it, and she's ready to go. And we're gonna put it in the ground right here. I'm sitting here looking at it. A lot of these tracks come out of this drain and cross this road and go up this other side. And I want to put my trap where that coyote's already stepping. I don't want to try to lure that coyote 3 or 4 foot over here or 3 or 4 foot over there. I want to put it right under his nose, so he's gonna find it. So I'm gonna come right here on this trail, and we're gonna find out if this ground's soft enough to do what we want to do. So I'm gonna punch in a dirt hole set right here. Okay, you can see the tracks, this coyote going up into there. There's another set of tracks that comes in and goes right behind it. But right here, we got this little tuft of grass, and we're gonna punch in a dirt hole set up under that tuft of grass. The reason I choose that tuft of grass is I want some backing, because I don't want that coyote working my set from the backside. I want him to have to work it and come across the trap. So something like this. I generally don't like to use something tall like this, but this right here is good. A good choice for backing. Coyotes don't really respond well when you try to really block them down like you can a bobcat set. They prefer more open, more natural looking stuff. So let's see. I know we're on this road bed right here and there's a lot of gravel, but let's see if we can punch this set in. So I'm gonna take my drill and I'm gonna go at a 45-degree angle right at the base of this. And again, my backing and the angle of my hole is all designed to make that coyote have to come around and work it from this side. And you can see, just like that, we have a hole that's that deep. And the reason I want to go that deep is I don't want something like a raccoon or possum or even the coyote itself. I don't want it to be able to reach down in that hole and easily get my bait. I want them to have to work this set to get after it, okay? Because all the while they're working this set, they're gonna be standing here and they're gonna find my trap. So we've got our hole punched in. Now I gotta think about the anatomy of the animal that I'm trying to catch. And on a coyote, if you were to envision a coyote standing right here with his nose in the hole, where are his feet gonna land? Because that's where we want our trap. So I'm gonna come back about 9 inches from the center of the hole to the center of my pan, okay? And then I'm gonna offset about 2 inches to the left or the right, because that's how they're gonna be standing, not dead center. So like I said, about 9 inches, and for me, that's the measurement tool that I use right there. Come over one side or the other and dig my trap bed. All right. When I'm digging my trap bed, I only want to dig a hole big enough for the trap to go in. I don't want to disturb a bunch of ground around it, because it's going to be hard to get it to pack back. Just like this is firm ground. It's a little soft because it's rain, but if I dig a big hole here and put dirt back in it, it's going to be soft, and I don't want that coyote to feel it. So I'm just going to dig a hole just big enough for the trap. And over time, you'll learn, you know, what you need. So, like I said, 9 inches. We're going to offset it and dig our trap bed right here. All right. This is where our dirt pan sifter comes in handy. I'm just going to take all this dirt that I take out of my trap bed, and I'm going to put it into this pan. Upside down for the jaws. There we go. I'm going to take my trap and my screen wire pan cover, show you how we use this. So, take a screen wire pan cover, and I'm just going to lay it right inside the jaws of that trap, okay? Just like that. And then we're going to set our trap. You can use your hands, you can use your feet. They make trap setting tools, whatever floats your boat. Come up under this loose jaw and flip our pan up. Okay. And there we go. We've got our trap with our screen wire pan cover in there. And then we've just got to throw it into the night latch. But before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and drive this stake into the ground. Just gonna take my stake driver and put it down into my anchor right in the center of my hole, and I'm gonna drive this thing in the ground. Like I said, we're gonna drive that thing until we get that swivel right there in the dirt, okay? Pull our stake out, stake driver, grab our trap chain, pull up on it, make sure we set that anchor. Now I'm just gonna knock some dirt back in that hole to prevent water from running down in there and just making a soupy mess. And I'm gonna test fit this trap into the hole, okay? I just need to cut out a little bit more for my levers, and we'll get it down in there. Okay, now we're talking about bedding a trap. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Chain in there to the side. All right, that's a pretty good fit there. Okay, when I set my trap in my hole, I want my dog facing my hole, okay? Because the animal's gonna work across the trap this way, okay? I don't want to turn it sideways. So I've got my trap in my hole. Looks like it's gonna fit pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and arm that trap. All right, we heard our click there. Get our screen wire pan cover. And you can see what I was talking about, how that thing will just lay in there nice and flat. There's a little bit of a bubble above it, but when we put some dirt on it, it's just gonna smooth that out, okay? Just like that. We're gonna put this in the hole, like so. And then we've got to cover it up with dirt. We got to make this trap disappear. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna sift a little mountain of dirt over the top of my trap, okay? And you can see there what we're left with, big rocks in that thing. We don't need that. Dump that out, okay? Now, I've got to find the center of my pan so that I can pack everything down, and I'll use the back of my hand and I'll just sit there and make small circles working down till I find that trap, okay? Another reason you don't want to make that trigger just a hair trigger, okay? There's my pan right there. There's the dog, okay? And there's my pan. So I know that I can touch anywhere outside of that and I'm good, okay? And I want to pack this back down and make this just like it was before we set this trap here, nice and firm ground. Because when that coyote steps here, if that trap moves underneath his foot, he's gonna pull it back because he knows something's up. And we don't want that to happen. So it's very important. The only thing that can move underneath that coyote's foot when he steps here is where that pan is. And once he feels that, it's too late. He's caught. Okay, knock this down here. And I'm just blending this back in, okay? I want about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of dirt on top of that pan, okay? And right now, it's gonna be very obvious where that trap is because we've just taken this super moist dirt from the, from underneath the ground, and we've moved it up here to the top. But once this dries, it's gonna blend in and look a lot better. There we go. That's a dirt hole set. The only thing we got left to do now is to actually bait the hole. What you can do, some of the dirt clods that came up, make sure it's a dirt clod, not a rock. You can kind of set this stuff here to the side and guide that coyote's foot. He's not going to want to step on that. He's going to want to step over here where it's cleaner. Okay. So we've got our trap bedded in the ground. We're going to take these gloves off, throw them in our dirt pan. We're going to grab our bait. All right, for my bait, I keep it in a separate bucket. I carry sheep's wool. It helps keep my bait up off the bottom. This is just raw sheep's wool, and it smells like a barnyard animal, so it's going to give a visual, and it's also going to give off another smell for that coyote. But I'm just going to take my sheep's wool and some of this Warhorse Predator bait from Southern Snares. Take my sheep's wool and throw it on the hole right there. Just take me a little stick, dig some of this out of here, and it doesn't take much, okay? Just a little dab on that sheep's wool will do you. And I'm just gonna push that down in the hole down to the bottom. Okay. Drop that in there. And I'm just going to take a little splash of coyote urine and squirt on the backing there. Okay. What this is going to do is this is going to simulate that another coyote has come in and buried something right here. And a coyote, you got to think of them, it's nothing more than a thief, especially when it smells that another animal's been in its territory. He's going to come in, he's going to smell that. He may not even be hungry, but he's going to want to steal that from whatever it is that buried it there, pick it up and move it, and bury it in his own location and mark it as his own. So there we go. That's your dirt hole set right here on this trail, and we're going to drop another couple of sets in while we're here. Showed you a dirt hole set. Now we'll show you a flat set. We have this pan cover, and right over here on the edge of this clearing we've got a trail that runs off and runs up the edge of this drain. We can see the track that this coyote left coming up through here. So I've got a log right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this log down just like that. Okay. Right over here, right on the edge of the trail. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this trap, like I said, I'm going to make a flat set. Pan cover here. Just trying to pinch this coyote down right here on this trail that he's already choosing to walk on. They're going to show you where they want to go, and they're very, very picky about where they step. Like a woman with nice shoes on, they're not going to walk right through the mud puddle. They're going to go up high and around it or whatever. So get our pan cover on there. Alright. Just bring our pan cover on there. Like I said, I gotta put this trap and make it look like nothing was ever disturbed here. So just like a dirt hole set, I'm going to put my scent on this. And the coyote's going to walk up and smell this and want to mark it, just like your dog would. And so I got to envision where that coyote's going to be standing. So instead of coming straight off the end of it, that coyote's going to be traveling this way, right? So I want to put my trap 9 inches off one side or the other of this log I have, this little prominent feature that's sticking out, and offset, okay? And I want to turn this thing like this. I want my dog facing my direction of travel. Remember with the dirt hole, coyote's going to work up to it. If this is a dirt hole, coyote's going to work up to it and across the trap like that, so we point the dog towards that. Same thing, coyote's traveling this way. We want to put our dog facing up or down the trail. So 9 inches. I'm going to come to the high side here and do it. Actually, I got a little bit more room down here. 9 inches off this log, just like that, and right here in the center of the trail. said, I'm gonna try to be very careful. Try not to disturb too much of this. When we're putting a dirt hole set in, we're creating the illusion that an animal has dug something out of the ground. When we're putting a flat set in, we don't have that luxury. And this one is going to be a little tough to bed because this is just freaking sand right here where it washes off. Just hoping there's enough good ground there for this anchor. We'll find out. Oh yeah. There's definitely something hard down there. Yeah, there we go. Test fit that in there. Yeah, there we go. All right. Put our trap on. There we go, you heard that little click there. Pan cover laying nice and flat. Just gonna work that thing down in there. And because of this sand, I am really gonna spend a little time and pack this thing in good. Under pan. Also, when we're doing this, when we're finding the pan, we're taking just little fine particles of dirt and working it underneath that or through that screen. So if there's any space between that screen wire and the pan, it kind of takes that bounce out. And then, like I said, we're not going to be able to make this thing disappear right now, but after sitting in the sun, this sand is going to look just like the rest of it once it dries out. There we go. Just like that. All right, when I'm baiting a flat set, it's more of a territorial deal. I want it to smell like another coyote has come up here and hiked its leg and marked that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some one night stand coyote gland lure from Southern Snares. Find me a little, here we go. Find me a little stick. Give me a little bit of that gland lure. I'm just going to shove it up into the side of that log up on the underside. It's going to help protect it from some rain. And then I'm going to take just coyote urine, put a little splash on there. So our pan's right about here. Okay, so you got to envision if that coyote comes from here, it's going to walk up, smell that, and then he's going to step forward to hike his leg to pee on it. And he's going to step right there. Same thing. He walks up, when he stops to smell it, he's going to be standing right there. Got him. So that is a flat set right there. Using a log, you can use a rock. I like to use the logs though. And like I said, this is just a trail that goes up the side of this drain and kind of pinches that coyote in between this right here. Just a perfect example of this crazy winter weather we have here in the southeast. We started out the morning and it was cold, setting traps, and then it got warm. I had to take my vest off and actually wishing I'd worn a t-shirt. And now here we are about 4:30 in the afternoon and I'm bundled up wishing I had on another layer. But we got a bunch of sets out. Showed you several different types of sets for coyotes. We deployed a bunch of dog-proof coon traps around deer feeders, and now we wait. You know, just like with the raccoon trap in Georgia law requires that you carry a 22 long rifle, whether it be pistol or rifle. You can't carry a 17. It's got to be 22 LR, and a catch pole with you. And check these traps once a day, and we'll let it run. Typically, I'll trap, you know, 10 to 14 days on a piece of property. You know, with the weather cycles that we have here, I feel like in that time frame, it gives me the best opportunity to cast a wide enough net to feel like I've gotten what I'm going to be able to get. But you know, catches can dictate that. If I'm at day 10 and I'm still catching animals, I'm going to keep rocking on. So I hope this encourages you to get out there and try it yourself. You know, it's like I said in some previous videos, we spend a lot of time hunting deer, hunting turkeys. We put a lot into the front end on, you know, food plots and feed and habitat, and this is just another piece of the puzzle, is trapping those predators and keeping that population in check. So check us out, 4swildlife.com. We got tons of information out there. We are Advanced Wildlife Solutions, and so we want to offer solutions to all of you out there. We're not just here to, you know, to sell you deer feed and attractants, minerals, and food plot seeds. We want to help you in every aspect of that 365 management. And it's a year-round effort if you want to consistently hold and hunt, you know, big mature bucks. So like I said, check us out, and thanks for watching.